simple and clean platformy game. All right, hello everybody. We should be platformy. Yes, we're fucking live. All right, we're fucking doing it live. Hello everybody. Welcome to Digibro versus everybody. For the first time in a while, things have been hectic for the last 2.5 weeks, and currently my laptop's in the shop, so May cannot play Phantasy Star Online with me. So instead, I'm just gonna play this fucking indie game that I've beaten at least twice already, called You Have to Win the Game. And it's just like a real simple and easy platformy fucking nonsense game. So I'll be doing that, and May over there is gonna handle all the fucking
pulling the strings, as always.
Yes, she's gonna make this somehow doable in spite of everything. So yeah, let's just go ahead and start fucking throwing people in to argue with me. I guess let's
we
fucking
already
get
have
this.
somebody who called dibs.
All right.
I'm gonna throw in Deep Pico.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on? What you want to argue about?
All right. So there's I have like 10 topics more than that. So I'm gonna. What do you want? Do you want to start off with the artsy one? So
yeah, let's go.
Favorite. I think Bahi JD is a better animator than Yutaka Nakamura.
Okay, why?
Because I just think he has more utility than Yutaka Nakamura.
I mean, I can't say I've like studied Bahi JD's work enough. Like his portfolio is just so much smaller than Utapon that it's hard for me to like I would say he might have more potential to, but I don't know if I would say he's like got a better do you think he has a better catalog of work, or you just like his style more in general?
His style is I like his style more, and like, what do you mean you say better catalog of work? Do you think I think his work is better? I mean, I think it is.
Like, I mean, when I think of what makes the best animator, I don't just think of like the variety of what they can do, but like just what have they done. Like Yutaka Nakamura has made so much animation throughout his career. Like, you know, I could probably find 30 minutes worth of his animation, you know, and many of my favorite fight scenes would be amongst those. Like Bahi JD might have
quality, not quantity.
That's fair. Well, this is kind of a hard thing to like agree or disagree or argue on, because it's sort of just a matter of taste, and I can't really formulate an argument for why.
Okay, so we'll agree
better.
To disagree.
So now, I mean, it's possible I will eventually agree with that. But yeah, go ahead.
I have something to say. For a friend and for me, remember when you said you tried to learn how to draw?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm gonna shit on you just like Munchie did on that one podcast. I'm gonna shit on you some more.
Okay.
Literally, if you literally just practice like 15 minutes a day for the when you said, hey, I'm gonna learn how to draw. If you just continue drawing for like 15 minutes a day, you could have learned how to draw.
I know that, but like, which 15 minutes out of the day am I supposed to sacrifice on the altar of drawing?
You already knew how to draw. I think everybody inherently knows how to draw.
Well, he means I'd be good at it by now.
It's more of like finding your own style.
I mean, for me, the problem with drawing is just that it is extremely frustrating for me, and like, it's just that.
Wait, Pantsu. You said finding your own style. I disagree. I think most of drawing, like practicing, is just for building up technical skills. Style is something that you already have.
Well, it depends what you're drawing. If you're trying to draw manga, then it may be more helpful to find a style, since it's not really realistic, you know?
Well, I think what he's trying to say is that you have like an innate creative voice that like when you look at my artwork, even though it is shitty, you can tell I drew it.
I draw every day, and I don't think my art has improved considerably.
I totally disagree with that. I think your art has improved dramatically.
But dude, I want to see your porn manga. Please learn how to draw.
You know, I'm supposed to do a storyboard for a porn manga by a guy called Otto, who's pretty good. And by pretty good, I mean really good. but I just haven't gotten around to actually. My life has been quite busy lately, and for what it's worth,
I understand.
I may have failed the whole keeping up drawing, but Pantsu over there has, in fact. She's been drawing all the time.
Credit to her.
Yeah.
The female sex has won again.
Well, I just feel like, you know, her and my tastes are close enough that if she becomes an amazing artist, I can just write stuff that she can draw, and I won't ever have to learn how to draw. I can just let her do it for me.
All right. Okay. After this, I'm gonna jump into some, I guess, headier topics. But one more. I think '80s girls are the best era of anime girls. Not the best era, but the most attractive.
The '80s are the best year. Okay, thank you.
Decade.
Again, I don't really know how to, like, I don't know if I disagree with that statement. Like, a lot of my favorite anime girls are from the '80s. I mean, I think Girl Ranma is probably one of the hottest anime girls of all time.
You know, the funny thing is, I was gonna like challenge you to like, I guess a cipher or like a rap album, like written a verse, but I'm not gonna say it because it's fucking terrible.
Okay. By the way, you sound just like Munchie.
I know. Dude, in your Discord, everyone accuses me of being Munchie.
That's hilarious. I can tell you're not, but I understand the confusion.
Are you from California?
No, I am from Virginia, and 50% of my life I've been in Virginia, and 50% has been in North Carolina.
So not even slightly.
It's just
a pure
coincidence.
coincidence.
No, I've never been in the West Coast. Literally never stepped foot on like California or anywhere near the West Coast.
Amazing.
But yeah, I have another one.
Right.
I feel like
just pick pick whichever one you think will cause the most argumentativeness from me.
Change in the world can't happen anymore.
Okay, well now I definitely disagree. What is your argument that change can't
The world's
happen?
too big.
The world is not big. The world is not that big. Okay, this is something I really want to make a lot of statements about, because I only really understood this from traveling, but like the world is not very large, and like for what it's like, not only is it not that big, but humans don't occupy that much of it. Like human beings only occupy about 10% of all this, less than 10% I think, of all the space in America. So like it's mostly just a big empty void of fields. And like if you go on a plane and you look down and you see a city that you think, oh, that's a big city, but then you see it from a plane and you're like, actually, it's not really that big. You can see the whole thing in one plane. And then you go anywhere and you'll meet someone you know. You know, like I can't fucking even tweet about a random police funeral procession happening in my town without getting someone like, yeah, I live in that town and I know what you're talking about. And I'm like, of course you do.
I also am one to say I've had to reorient my sleeping schedule because I live in Bahrain just to be up here.
You what? You are...
I live in Bahrain, so I had to reorientate my sleeping schedule.
Well, I thought you were in Virginia. How did you end up in Bahrain?
No, I moved. My mother's in the military, so I had to move into Bahrain.
I see. Well, I don't even know where Bahrain is on a map.
Well, yeah. Also, another one on, I guess, one of social connections, an Evangelion-esque topic. I believe, I personally find, like, could you see yourself, like, helping someone? I personally think it's irrational to, like, be willing to die for someone. Or to, like, you know, or help someone to the extent that you're willing to die for them.
Why do you think that's irrational?
Or like a random person, not like, you know, a scientist or like, you know.
I mean...
Or like a person that you care about is what I mean. Like you do it out of like caring for someone. I feel like that's irrational. People shouldn't do that.
I mean, if you think that they are more valuable than yourself, and if sacrificing yourself is the only way that you can help them, then I think it's... You know, if you're going to make a cost-benefit analysis on you versus them, I think it's fair. Usually the reason people are so self-sacrificing towards children is that, for the most part, you know, there's a lot more potential that they could pretty much be anything. Now, granted, it's not guaranteed that just because you sacrifice yourself, that person is going to be, great, but then you might be shit. So, granted, also, you might not be the best person fit to make a quality judgment on yourself. So I would say it's nuanced, but it can be rational.
Yeah, but also I wrote down helping someone you care about. So basically, I was having a discussion in your Discord about how like they were like having a heated discussion. Well, I mean, it transformed to a discussion about normies and how they ruined our. I was arguing that it was everyone else basically disagreed with me except one person, but the thing that they were talking about was how like a friend obviously brought up how like his friend like they were in a situation where like they were in a toxic relationship of like abuse and like frequent sexual assault, and they were saying that they're like willing to die for this person, and no, not willing to die for this person, but like, and I'm just like, okay, if it got to that point where it's like they're in like they've been like sexually assaulted, they've been in like abusive relationship with their parents.
Obviously, in this situation, this person should not.
Them. I would disassociate with that person because it's too much trouble.
Well, yeah.
Would you agree?
I mean, that's an extremely specific circumstance. Like, but I mean, to broaden from there and say it's always irrational is, it's like a totally different argument. Like, I think if you're making this on a case-by-case basis, then sure. That person probably shouldn't be self-sacrificing for that other person who is a piece of shit. Anyway, you've had enough arguing. We gotta bring in somebody else.
Okay, you can bring in someone else.
Amanda's not even looking at the chat to see if they want people kicked. She is reading a manga. Oh, sorry. I haven't gotten used to using your internet handle anymore because it's been so long.
Alright, I'm gonna throw in Tread Ferguson because he was bitching in the chat. So, hello.
Hello?
Hello, what's going on? What you want to argue about?
Sorry, May, I didn't mean to bitch.
No, it's fine. I'm kidding.
No, I just wanted to ask, or don't really ask. You can kick me out if it's not really an argument.
Okay.
But in your Digibro, the Human Conrad Machine video, it was like Digibro 8 point something.
Yes.
You were addressing all of the people in the comments who were complaining about your new editing style and like some of the filters you had started adding just recently.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm going to sound like an asshole if I'm wrong, but I remember you saying that you had gone back to some of your oldest YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And you had seen, however many years ago that was, that even back then you were using some of those styles, and that anyone who was like, oh, he's changed or something like that. Anyone who was, being over dramatic with their complaints, you were saying just clearly doesn't know you.
Right.
And that, in fact, the way you are now is more authentic than the way you were.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was interesting because I don't remember what the video was, but it was one of your After Dark rants, which, by the way, is my favorite of your content.
You were talking about most people, I think, but most people have seen them.
You were talking about the H3H3 podcast and how they were talking to, I forget who it was, but one of those like trashy prank YouTubers, and how they are entirely self-aware of what their channel is and how it's perceived. Right. They just do it anyway because it's a show, and that all YouTubers are a show.
Yeah.
So I was wondering.
Joey Salads was the guy in question.
Joey Salads, yeah. That's such a dumb name. But I was just wondering, to someone like myself who, despite you saying you are being more authentic, is still kind of disillusioned with the way you've, again, this is all just anyone's opinion, and you've very clearly stated that you don't think you've changed very much. But for someone who can't help but think that way, would you say that your content is simply not geared toward me and I just shouldn't be watching? Or is there actually a change that you just didn't say? Or
I mean, it's not fair to say that my content has not changed. I would say that it hasn't changed in the specific way that I was, like the use of filters and stuff like that. There's a concept that I'm sure I've talked about this before. Oh shit, I like pushed my earbuds further into my ears and then everything sounded like I was underwater. Sorry. Anyway, Film Crit Hulk, who was a film crit who I'm a big fan of, had this write-up about the concept of tangible details and how when people don't like something, they will often fixate on the tangible details of its presentation, such as, for instance, when the Fantastic Four movie came out, a lot of people were complaining that the actress they chose to play a blonde woman was not blonde. And when the movie sucked, a lot of people blamed it on the casting, saying like, oh, well, she didn't even look like the character. Why did they even pick that? But, like, obviously when it comes to acting, it doesn't matter how the actor actually looks. You can transform that through movie magic. And anytime someone who, like, in the case of James Bond, a lot of people were worried that Casino Royale was going to be a shitty movie because David, what the hell's his name? David, the guy who plays James Bond in the newer movies.
Yeah, I don't know his name either.
Daniel Craig. I was thinking David Clegg. I fucking got it confused. But he didn't look like James Bond, but once the movie came out, because it was a great movie, no one complained, and that whole idea just kind of disappeared into the ether. And so I think that there probably are elements of my videos that have changed that might irk people, and that when they see the color filters, that is such an obvious thing to latch onto that, like, is, you know, oh, this wasn't there before, so this must be the problem. But I think that, for instance, one of the biggest problems with the vlogs from that era was that part of the reason I was using the color filters was because I couldn't really do that many camera angles. Like in the last house I lived in. Yeah, you talked
about the way the walls were white and it made it seem too boring, so that's why you were adding all this stuff.
Right, and I just didn't have like enough rooms I could record in, and like you know, my office room was so small. So like I think that if the videos come off visually boring, you know, like there's ways I could use color filters where they would be interesting, you know, and people would probably appreciate them. It's just that they weren't in the context of those videos. And so like, whereas color filters for me was like me sort of returning to my old work, looking at what I'd done before to make a video interesting, and then, you know, employing some elements of that, like, you know, it didn't necessarily work. So but I don't think that like it was simply the use of color filters, you know. It's more like this universal change in perspective or something. Like, if anything, I would think that there's probably plenty of people who just didn't like the lifestyle change, you know, that I was no longer like just clearly not the same exact person, you know.
Yeah, I should have probably been more explicit. So first of all, I should say, I know I used the color filters as an example because that's what you talked about in the video, but that's weren't my problems. So I should have said that. Yeah. I just kind of feel disillusioned with your transition from I don't know, kind of a thinking man into no, not at all. Just like the way you talked, obviously, like your erased rant and stuff where you were screaming is an exception, but like for the most part, you were like quiet. I think of those old finish or fail videos where you were like extremely pondering, switching to we're all on drugs screaming in front of the mirror. Like,
I mean, are my new finish or fail videos like that? I would think my finish or fail.
Oh no, your new finish or fail videos are not like that, but like the Gecko Estate stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different. You know, I mean, Gecko Estate is a spiritual sequel to the Insomnia analysis videos. So, I mean, how did you feel about those old ones? Like, do you feel
I felt that the Insomnia analysis videos were so good because we knew that you weren't sleeping and we weren't sleeping either, and that's why we liked it.
See, the funny thing about that is that name is a gimmick, and I was never, like, actually up all night in any of those videos.
I know, but, like, the way you're always... you know, it's always nighttime and you're always wearing sunglasses. Like, even if you're not, it still comes off. It's like, it still fits what we had seen to be Digibro.
So, but, I mean, I definitely think that I mean, in the case of something like the difference between the Gecko Estate and Insomnia analysis, I mean, I think it was clear in the videos that I intended there to be a change. Like, that it's not meant to come off as the exact same thing. That's why the name is different and all.
Yeah.
I guess what I want to know is I feel like I understand what you like about Insomnia, like what you like about the old videos, and I'm not sure what you dislike about the new ones that makes them feel like, what do you not like about the Gecko Estate?
I feel confused because you said, in those past videos that all YouTube is a show,
Uh-huh.
and then the second you say, this is me authentically, I don't like it. So I'm worried, okay, well, if
Well,
this
okay,
isn't a
no.
show, and if...
Let me clarify that then. It's not that this is me authentically. Nothing I post online is ever me authentically, because that's impossible. It's impossible to capture, like...
I remember you saying that, yeah.
Right, so
I agree.
What I mean, when I say that it's all a show, is that it is that,
Yeah.
And I would say that the same level of authenticity has gone into the videos at every point. It's merely a matter of who I am is a different person than I was back then. Like, I
understand.
I'm now someone who's in a relationship. I'm now someone who lives in a totally different place, who has different long-term goals, views on society. Back then, and not even so much that any of my opinions are particularly different, so much as like what I am prioritizing is different. It's like I used to be mostly about trying to understand and come to terms with myself and trying to get people to understand me. Now I don't feel like I need people to understand me, because people already get it. I've been around long enough. Everyone on the internet knows what my story is. I've got people in my personal life who, affirm me and like, care about me for who I am. I just don't feel that need to constantly be like shoving my not so much my opinions,
self-analysis.
Yeah, like the constant need to be like, here's what I'm all about, and like, you guys are all wrong about anime, or like nobody's representing my perspective. Like, I don't feel that nobody's representing my perspective anymore. There was a time when I was championing the cause of merely creating analysis videos at all. Like, fact, I just wanted more people to do it. And now I'm like championing the cause of, okay, well, now can some of you do it well, and it's like the goalposts shift over time. So I do think there will be, there inherently are changes. And I don't know how to... Like, it's hard for me to look at the videos and say that I'm doing anything differently. It's like the methodology hasn't really changed.
I guess I've just been watching so long that you're right. You just straight up changed as a person, and I was just overthinking it. And
I mean, I don't even know
exactly
if
that.
It's not that you're even overthinking it per se. Like, I just think that my approach has always been kind of difficult to explain, because of the fact that it's always been this push and pull between doing what I think is best for me emotionally and doing what's best for my career. And like, sometimes it's very unclear which are which to the audience. Like, sometimes stuff that I'm really passionate about comes off as like boring shit that no one cares about, and then sometimes stuff that I'm like totally unpassionate about, people are like, this is your best work, and it's like the reasoning behind every video is usually kind of momentary. It's like, okay, well, I need an idea every week, so what's the what's gonna generate that this week? Is it gonna be profit? Is it gonna be inspiration? Is it gonna be this or that? It's hard to say. And because I make so much content and I don't really think that hard about any of it before I start working on it, like, sometimes I can talk all this game about what my intentions with my content are, and then post 3 videos that have nothing to do with those intentions, because they're just ideas that came to me, so like it's always unclean. If I say anything about like what I'm doing, it's never gonna be like an exact one-to-one to what is actually going into the videos, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess another problem too, and I should probably be out of here by now, but another problem that I think is I've been watching a lot of your old content lately, because there was a few months there where you weren't putting a lot out. After the Digi Daily stopped, you weren't putting a lot out, so I was just watching a bunch of your old videos, and that was probably what brought this about, was me watching videos of you self-analyzing an older version of yourself, and then watching videos of a newer version of yourself and being like, what the fuck, who is this? So
well, it's also funny because I dislike most of my older videos, like except for the super, like when I took that trip around when I took my trip around America, where I was like visiting friends all the time,
Yeah.
I kept showing people my videos, but like I realized that most of my content is just boring for most people, including for me. Like I can't really rewatch a lot of my videos, with few exceptions. I mean, there's definitely ones all throughout my career that I'm proud of, even stuff from my early teens that I'm proud of. But I found myself, like, when I would, show videos to friends, like, I would default to a lot of my old comedy videos, or just stuff that was a lot more broad and, like, not so anime focused, or just not so focused on me. And it made me realize that, like, so many of my videos were about getting something off of my chest, and they had nothing to do with the audience. And because of the fact that I've changed, that means that I'm no longer interested in the videos where I was just trying to get something off my chest, because it doesn't appeal to the current me. So I'm watching it, I'm just like, oh, here's me just fucking farting on about myself again for the 80th time, And so yeah, like, now I try to make stuff that I expect to last a little longer. Like with the Gecko Estate vlogs, there's still an element of, like, I have to get this thing off my mind, but I want to formulate it in a way that if I came back and watched it a year later, I think I'd still be entertained, And so like a lot of my editing decisions are more based in that kind of mindset. Oh fuck, I just fucked up really bad in the stupid game I'm playing.
No.
Anyways.
Sorry, not watching the Twitch stream.
No, it shouldn't be. It's probably fucking insanely boring because I'm playing a hard as balls indie platformer. But yeah, like, yeah, that's basically it, I guess. Just, what I want from the content has definitely changed. And if you watch, like, the commentaries that me and Devu have been doing on, like, all of my main channel videos throughout time, I'm always super hard on them because, like, while the spirit of the video, or, like, the point it's trying to make might hold up, like, the writing quality doesn't, or, like, just...
Yeah, that was the how I learned to write gooder video. That's like 3 hours.
How to write gooder. And also just... and not just writing better, but something I've come to realize recently is, like, a lot of my videos... I used to always say, like, my commenters aren't paying attention. And that is true, but it's like... You're never gonna get the commenters to pay attention unless you just make it so they can't miss the point, So, like, that's also another thing I've been trying to explore more now. And if you watch my newer videos, like, I've been really working on, like, tightening the scripts to just be, like, super airtight and super, like, concise with the point and unambiguous, because I just don't want people to walk away from it not getting it anymore, So yeah, like, little things like that might affect it. But again, even though I just said that, you might watch a video that totally feels different from that point. Because again, I can have an overarching logic to it all, but, like, in the end, what the videos come out as is just whatever I was inspired to make in that moment,
Yeah, I'll certainly go forward acknowledging just literally change over time in a person's personality.
Yeah. I mean, a lot changed by moving out of my parents' house, Like, It's hard to be the same guy when you're not hung up on the same shit,
All right, thanks.
All right, peace out. Let's bring in the next one.
All right, I'm going to bring in Libido Cayman because he said I was pretty.
That's one way to get in. Fucking coercion. Is that what that's called?
Something like that.
We there? We got him?
He doesn't seem to have the same name, so let's put in comprehend!
Comprehend. Comprehend me. Isn't that what I had as the
I think he muted himself. Vampire Hunter D's.
Oh yeah, Vampire Hunter D's nuts. More like.
Hello.
Vampire Hunter D, you there? Is he role-playing Vampire Hunter D by not talking? Because Vampire Hunter D doesn't generally talk that much.
Let's see. Who else we got? Pax Xenon?
Pax Xenon?
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's up? What you want to argue about?
Hey. So, yeah. So 3 weeks ago, I was like, had this idea. Okay, so your goal was to hit 1 million subs by the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I hit a pretty big roadblock on that over the last couple weeks, but I'm still gonna call that the goal for now. We might have to shoot for 750K at this point, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, like I had this idea 3 weeks ago. Sorry, I'm like on the spot right now because I'm suddenly in. Oh my god.
I know, right?
Okay, so my idea is that you should like do more to get the more mainstream appeal. You should like consider doing more of the style of Giga and like Mother's Basement, that kind of thing, to bring in more people, while at the same time trying to sell yourself. And I mean, it's kind of hard to do because your appeal has a different base, right? Because Mother's Basement and Giga is more mainstream appeal, and yours is a more.
What would you describe as the style of Giga and Mother? Because first of all, I don't think their videos are very similar to each other. It was like, what exactly about them do you think I should copy?
I mean, you're like, I enjoy listening to your videos because you have your own opinions about things, and like I really like seeing the other side, the contrarian side, right? Sure. Sometimes you agree with the mainstream and sometimes you don't. I don't know. It's just like maybe it's just trying to get more of the appeal in the videos. People like their videos are a little more flashy in their editing. I mean, like you got your new like drug thing going on, but I don't know what.
I mean, I don't even really edit my videos for the most part. It's mostly Devu who edits them, and he usually does a pretty flashy job. Also, just for the record, before this becomes a sticking point, not smoking weed anymore. Haven't been for the last 3 weeks or so. But that's just an aside. I don't know if it ever even really affected. I mean, it definitely affected my content insofar as it affected the way I analyzed things, but then it kind of just stuck. It wasn't like something that was like, oh, I'm high all the time, so I think of anime this way. It was like just kind of changed my whole perspective on stuff. But I mean, when I think of what does Mother's Basement do? Why is he successful? Mother's Basement is successful because he has perfect understanding of search engine optimization and the YouTube algorithm. What he does is he literally pays a guy to tell him what stuff is popular and like being talked about on social media, or to predict trends in upcoming stuff that's going to be popular, and then he just covers them. And because he's somebody who is very easily excited by basically any piece of media, he has an easy time coming up with something to say about it. And he also has an easy time filling 10 to 15 minutes because he doesn't really tighten his scripts down that much, the way that I do. So because of and he cranks out videos constantly. He has a stable of editors, not just one. And like the only reason I have Devu is because of the fact that he understands what I want from my videos pretty much perfectly. In Jeff's case, it doesn't matter because they're not so specific in personality as to require that kind of editing. It could just be what the fuck ever. So if I took that kind of factory approach to my content, then I could pretty much catch up to him. And that's kind of what I'm doing with Anime of the Week, because rather than doing it on those terms, I came up with a way to just make fast, easy videos on my own terms. Anime of the Week. So I fucking the second video of that I literally edited in 1 2-hour sitting. Like, it's the easiest thing in the world to do. So, in terms of gaming the algorithm, I know how to do that. In fact, I taught Jeff how to do that. Yeah, like
you can like do episodic, like all the small channels are doing that, all that, trying to grow an audience by doing that, or like talking about the new thing.
Yeah, I mean that's what Anime of the Week is the episodic new thing show. So I'm already ahead of you on that one. I don't know if you've watched my show.
Well, that's good. Like most people like do like whole episode analysis and that kind of stuff. Like I don't see your kind of analysis benefiting from that kind of stuff, but like it's still good. Man, I had more talking points. Man, putting on spot. Oh my god.
As for Giga, the main appeal of him is that he puts the comedic elements, and it's not so much the flashiness of his editing as that it's multifaceted, that he incorporates like voice acting.
Yeah, I like his jokes,
stuff. I think he's the least funny man in the entire universe, which is why I don't watch his videos. But that's
I mean, I enjoy his jokes though. Yeah.
I mean, my sense of humor is essentially like I don't really work that much humor into my videos because I think that including my sense of humor into the videos would make them less accessible. Like, I don't know that, like, you know, that it would help me to reach a bigger audience if I tried to make my videos funny in the way that I would find them funny. But I don't know. That might be a pretentious statement.
It's kind of hard to grow a bigger audience if, I mean, your video appeal isn't that appealing to like even more people. I guess like you're trying to like.
Oh, I'm definitely extremely niche. But the thing about it is, you can kind of. The way I've always built my career is just by teaching people that they wanted something they didn't know they wanted. You know, like, the way I started in the beginning is I used to do My Little Pony analysis way back in the day, and it was not really a genre of video that existed, but I thought it was a good idea, and so I figure, well, there's got to be other people who will think this is a good idea if I think it's a good idea, and there were. So, ultimately, like, the style of anime analysis I do, like, there clearly are people who are already, you know, who already like it, who already think that it's a cool style, but it's a question of, can I convince more people that they secretly wanted this all along, you know? So, like, with
I think that more of your attention comes from your contrarian opinions, like how to find an anime is shit in one episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been applying that a lot to my all my watches, so I can like find my own taste. Like I know my taste now, right?
Uh-huh.
Ever since you put that video, it's like, oh, I can automatically tell when, like, Darling in the Franxx, that first episode was so shit. I don't know why I put myself through that one, but anyways. Like, you can do more of those, like, big asterisk tour series, and then you can get
I've got
more
one coming. I'm going to do
you know?
Shinsekai Yori Sucks. So
man, that's
the
going to be
ultimate contrarian opinion.
That is going to be big.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, I guess, like, you can try and find more of those, like, big controversy videos, and then you can get maybe subscribers that way. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the goal. I feel like you missed I think because you came up with this topic 3 weeks ago, maybe you missed the last few videos I did on my channel that were basically me saying I was going to do the things that you're telling me to do right now. So,
well, those videos are like the anime of the week videos. It's your quick clips and not I don't know. I mean, I watch like pretty much every video that you guys, all the anime YouTubers, put out. So, and also your Hoseki Kuni video is like kind of 7 months late. I'm like totally understandable. I just think that a lot of people,
I know
like,
it's
a lot of smaller anime YouTubers have already said a lot about it. So I don't know if your video, I mean the video of getting the psyche part. I guess that's like a new topic that you were trying to find.
I honestly I haven't watched anybody else's videos about that show because I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I really liked like Pedantic Romantics video. That was a really good video. And,
I am usually bored with Pedantic Romantics videos, so I don't usually watch them. But I'll check it out. Because, you know, it's mean of me to say that when she hangs out in my Discord all day and shit. But yeah, I mean, with the Land of the Lustrous video, the only reason I did it is because I put out this video where I said that any show that if you requested me to do an anime and it got 200 likes on that one video that I put out, then I would do a video on it. So the idea was anything that people give me 200 requests to make a video about surely is something they want to hear me talk about. So Land of the Lustrous got a hell of a lot of likes. A lot of people wanted me to cover it. I watched it. I covered it as best I could. You know, I just kind of said everything I had to say about it that I thought was of any interest. So if the video comes out boring, it just means I didn't have enough to say about the show.
Well, it was nice to hear more like varied topics, more even if it was not contrarian, it's still very interesting to hear your take on popular things. So I guess you should do more of that in the future.
I agree. All right, we got to bring in the next person.
All right, see ya.
I'm gonna put in Spork.
All right. I've heard that name
Hello?
before. Hello, Spork, what's going on?
You've heard this name before because I was on another episode of this show.
Well, I feel like I've read your name before, so that's why.
I do comment on a lot of things, and I also emailed you for a while, and we were gonna do.
Oh yeah,
you were
you're the
gonna
one
be
who
on a song. Yeah,
I was gonna do a song with, and then.
Which you then just never, just low key. No, I'm not actually sorry about this, but low key, you just sort of stopped replying to me. And then I just was like, he must be busy.
I had some weird life events happen over the course.
Yeah,
of this
I
entire month.
I figured you must be kind of busy, and that's why. So I didn't want to prod you since. I mean, I didn't want to pester you since.
Guys, you're still.
I'm not paying you.
Audible. Sorry. They're just like Tom and May are like behind me, like sub conversing while I'm streaming. All right.
Nice.
Anyway, what? No, I didn't say it was. It goes. This stream goes forever, dog. It goes for a while. Anyway, what do you Sorry for interrupting you, Spork. Continue.
No worries. It's your show. Well, before I get to my argument, I'd just like to congratulate you. Last time I was on here, my first argument was that Trial of the Golden Witch is terrible. But I saw your Ain't Yo Shit / Get My Bread Fix My Head video, and I hadn't heard those songs before, and those were actually good songs. So well done.
Well,
you did
songs
good.
are a year old, but good. Glad
I somehow missed them. My biggest problem with your stuff was that your lyrics are crap, and you made songs that made me not care that I didn't like the lyrics, which was good. Anyway,
it's funny that you like them, and a lot of people do, because those are like the only songs where I produced it myself. Like, that was my like baby's first FL Studio loop build, just made out of like every sound effect that FL Studio has, and then it was born out of, because it came out not long after Gay and Dead, and it was just kind of my frustration with the fact that like that people respond so much better to the stuff that doesn't sound like I made it. So I decided to make a song that sounds like I made it and say this ain't yo shit, and then apparently some people actually like my production. So thank you.
That was good. Anyway, my real questions. As you may remember, last time I came on here, I offered you a choice of 3 questions, and I will do that again.
All right.
Well, not questions, argument propositions.
Sure.
My first one is your recent Twitter debacle where you claimed that blocking roads is literally terrorism, which is extremely retarded. I'm sorry.
All right.
It's just
what
a very
is your
stupid
argument
thing
for
to say.
why it is not terrorism?
It's all right. This is just going to be arguing definitions, so it's kind of a stupid one, but
that's
not,
right. You were giving
like,
me options. That's right. All right. Well, then what are the other 2 options before we?
The other one is a very small point from your Hoseki no Kuni video where you mentioned that they is a bad gender neutral pronoun and we need a new one, which is good. I think that wasn't even in the video. It was just in the description.
In the description, yeah.
I disagree with you. I think they is a perfectly okay and good gender neutral pronoun.
But they also is a word that you use to refer to a group of people.
Yeah.
So when you're
that's true,
writing a
but
video
it's also
where you
already in the English language.
Yeah, but we could. Why stack more definitions onto a word that's already bearing so much under itself? Like, the reason I decided.
No, it's not good.
Because when I was reading the script, I tried to replace the word she with they throughout the whole script. And because of the fact that I also sometimes refer to the entire group as they, it became really confusing in sentences where I was both talking about Fos and talking about the rest of the group. So it's like, I'm saying they to describe both. And it was so confusing that I was like, we need a better one. Like, this one doesn't work because there's sentences where it just falls apart, you know?
I don't deny that it's bad and doesn't work. No, my point is that there is no option. No one. Tumblr has been trying to come up with new gender neutral pronouns.
Tumblr comes up with all these stupid sounding ones like fablay, and you're just like, why would you make it sound dumb? Like, Tumblr has this like. Because of the fact that like Tumblr is just a bunch of people preaching to the choir, and like even though they claim that they're trying to change things in the world, they make no actual attempt to reach across the aisle and speak to the other side, which is the only people whose minds you need to change is the ones who disagree with you. So like when you make a bunch of like stuff that sounds artsy and gay, like no one's like the people who are homophobes are not going to want that, you know? You got to give them something that they're going to be like, Yeah, that like make it sound badass. Make it sound like somehow, like how the whole brony movement, like, constantly tried to insist on how masculine and badass it was so that society wouldn't look down on them, even though it was literally a gay thing. Like, if you were actually in it, you knew better,
Yeah, I know. But my argument against that is that the people that you need to change your mind, they're not going to accept a new word because they'll be like, they're changing the English language now. They think the language is fascist or whatever. Them
the
types of
language
people.
changes every single
At least
year.
with they,
every time a new
it's
Oxford
true.
dictionary is put out.
No, again, you're right, and these people are idiots. But this is the fact of the matter that they will do this, and they already have done this. I'm sorry, I should probably put my phone on not vibrate so it doesn't do this every 2 seconds. But yeah, at least with they, you have the argument that literally Shakespeare used they as a general neutral pronoun, so you can say that to them, and they can't really deny it, and it's already in the language and in the dictionary. It would be great to have a better one. Like, I would love if it existed.
Are the people who are like, are homophobes really swayed by citing Shakespeare? Like, Shakespeare's some gay shit. Like,
they don't know that because these people. They just love anything that's Western culture, and they don't care that the fact that Shakespeare was actually like a working class hero and like wrote stuff for the masses and blah 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 blah. And also that all of Shakespeare's plays included men dressing up as women constantly. But what they do care about is that Shakespeare is white.
So are you from America?
I'm not. I'm from the England.
Okay,
the United States of
Because in America, Shakespeare is not someone you could cite to like most Americans hate Shakespeare because they had to read it in high school and they didn't understand it at all because your high school teacher does not explain how like iambic pentameter works to you, so it just reads like fucking incomprehensible drivel. I only finally understood how to read Shakespeare after I found out that you just have to read it to the tune of Womanizer by Britney Spears, and then it all made sense to me.
It's basically all a trap song. All of Shakespeare is a Migos song.
And if you read it that way, it suddenly you're like, oh, now I understand what the fuck they're saying. But like somehow through all the years of education I had, no teacher was able to explain that to me.
It's almost like school is an inherently flawed system that sucks at teaching anyone anything. I agree
completely. But that's for another argument.
Yeah.
Now we just gotta wait for somebody to call in to counter that, and then we'll team up on that guy.
All right. Wait, did we reach a conclusion on this?
I don't even remember what we were arguing about.
Do you want to switch to a different topic?
Yes. Let's go for what was your third option?
You might just this one I'm not sure about. You might just agree with me. Okay. But so I am an avid fan of the Procrastinators podcast, patreon.com/the Procrastinators.
Hey. Looking out. That's Tom's whole paycheck back there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Low key. It has been shit up until like 3 episodes ago. It was absolutely terrible until the Formless cast.
Yeah.
Okay, totally. You agree with me. Good. Good. I'm glad.
The sad history, I don't know if I talked about this publicly. I know the other PCP guys heard about it. But back when Ben and Munchie did the Rowdy Fuckers Cop Killers, where they basically first raised all these problems at the PCP, and Munchie was like just asking like he just couldn't comprehend why it had gone to shit. And I made an entire like 20-minute video of me playing Bloodborne and explaining the history of how the PCP went to shit. And then I accidentally deleted all of the files, including the fully rendered video, before uploading it, thinking that I had already uploaded it. So it does not exist anywhere. But I mean, the PCP did go to shit, but there was like a logical reason behind it, which is basically just that, ironically, at the same time that it became a for-profit venture was the period when like everyone was kind of pushing it off their plate. Like I was in the beginning, it was like everyone was editing it because we were all kind of trying to one-up each other. And then at some point we realized that putting more effort into editing it was just making the episodes late and it was not getting them any more views. So like everyone was too busy to really work on it. And then when Nate was doing like Mia Mafova and shit, I was editing it for a while. And for me, it was just a simple matter of like, I'm a super fast editor. So it was really easy for me to just churn them out. But then as soon as there was a money incentive, I was like, let somebody else do it because I'm busy, getting ready to tour the country. So it basically became whoever wants money the most, i.e. Ben Saint, was going to be the editor. And since Ben doesn't give a fuck about putting any effort into it, because we never really like established like clear ground rules of like what had to be done, it was basically just no one really had time to make it their main focus, so everyone passed the buck to somebody else. And so no one was focused on how do we make the PCP good. Everyone was just focused on, am I going to show up this week, and like who's on the schedule and stuff like that. And when it got to a point where there was money involved and we had a 5-person limit, I basically blinked off the show entirely because I would never show up to the meetings where we decided who would be on the episode. So until we got rid of the personnel limit, that's when I finally started coming back on the show. And then by that point, it was so like deeply, it had been running for so long just as is, that like the idea of changing it now seemed like a contestable thing. And again, no one was like prioritizing it, even though steadily, in spite of the fact that the show was getting worse, it kept making more money. Like, because we made the Patreon and because more fans were coming in, like the show just kept making more money. So there was no reason to really question the way things were being done until it came to a point where, you know, both people on the show and people watching the show were no longer satisfied with the quality level. And it became a question of, well, how do we fix that? But at no point have people just started pulling their pledges over it. So it's never been something where it's like, oh, we need to change. It's more like a suggestion that was bubbling in the loins of a few members. But now that it does make so much money, and now that some people can like make it something they actually focus on, like it's, you know, it's picking up steam again. So
yeah. Well, I pretty much, yeah, that wasn't an argument at all, because you're just completely right. So let me go back to my first point, which is that blocking traffic
this is the one I
by
wanted.
no means...
This is the argument I'm most
this is the actual
in.
argument. This is the one I came up with first because, like, I saw it on Twitter and it triggered me, and I was just like,
I'm triggering everybody.
What the fuck, Digi? You're smart. You're smarter than this. Come on, Digi.
All right. Well, I guess I'll just state my case first, because what brought this up was I was trying to drive May to a doctor appointment, and on the way, the intersection that we had to go through to get to this doctor's appointment was completely stopped with people. And I assumed it was a protest, so I, after spending like 20 minutes trying to figure out how to circumnavigate this thing, which was nearly impossible because it was literally on the road we had to be on, eventually it just kind of cleared up, so that's how we got in. But like, while this was happening, I sat down and I immediately tweeted like, protesting and stopping traffic is fucking terrorism, because it was literally an unsettling experience not knowing if she was going to be late for this doctor's appointment. You know, it caused stress, it caused confusion. I don't know my way around town that well yet, so I was kind of lost. Like, it was just overall a pain in the ass. And I feel like there's so many.
All right, minor inconvenience, or even major inconvenience. I would class this as a minor inconvenience, but then I remembered that America doctors cost money, so major. Even if it was a major inconvenience,
okay, well, consider that it wasn't that bad for me. However, consider the fact that ambulances couldn't get through this road. So let's say someone's dying. They're dead now because you guys were clogging the road. You know, I said this on Twitter. I'm kind of doxing myself now, but I did say that on Twitter. That I don't think it's a good thing. I don't even think it's a good method for protest. As I mentioned on the last time I was on here, I'm an anarchist, and I think non-violent protest is stupid. It doesn't achieve anything. Okay.
But I also don't think that you can just. And also, it's kind of poetic that it turned out to be a cop that caused it in the end, which are terrorists, because they do actually kill people on purpose.
I don't disagree with that either. I mean, as I said on Twitter, when I found out it was just some fucking cop funeral procession, I was kind of even more annoyed, because I was like, should the police not be considering this a public disturbance that they themselves are causing? And apparently someone told me that it's been like it's been causing disturbances for days, because ever since this officer died, there's been constant news vans everywhere reporting on the fact that they were going to do a funeral procession, and that was stopping up traffic in like choke points in the town, and just overall it's a nightmare. But like, the way I see it, to stop up traffic in such a way that is going to, like, it's not just a matter of inconvenience, it's a matter of a mass inconvenience. It's a matter of, like, wasting everyone's time, and that ultimately is going to cost an amount of time equivalent to human lives. You know, it's like you're kind of like, if you exhaust like 80 years worth of human time in one traffic jam, is that not equivalent to just killing somebody?
Can I say something slightly off topic for a second, because I've just seen something that's very amusing. So I just looked up the definition of terrorism on Urban Dictionary because I thought it would be funny. And I don't know if you know, but on Urban Dictionary, it has a little randomly generated thing that says, get a blank mug for your brother-in-law or family member, and then random name, and then like that when you type in a word, because they're trying to sell merch. And when I typed in terrorism, the randomly generated one was, get a terrorism mug for your brother-in-law Abdul.
That's pretty good. So
anyway,
what did it say? Was it anything funny?
Oh, it doesn't. It says the cheapskate's way of harming one's enemies by using radicalized believers to carry out the barbaric attacks because one doesn't have the sophisticated weaponry to do it remotely.
Doesn't sound.
Which I don't think is a very satisfactory definition.
All right. Well, what do you want? What about this is not terrorism?
Okay. You did say that you were minorly inconvenienced and it caused you discomfort.
Yeah.
But at no point, I mean, unless you, I wouldn't say, like, how do I put this into words? Look, you're not a pussy, is what I'm trying to say. There's no way that this caused you terror. It may have caused you to be a little alarmed, but not terror. I don't know you.
If I were
Maybe
in the back of an ambulance, like, on the way to the hospital, and I've heard there was a fucking protest outside, I think I'd be terrified.
Okay, but that's not, they're not doing that on purpose. And also, I saw previously there were Black Lives Matter protests that blocked roads in London, where I live, and they did let an ambulance through at one point. There was an ambulance there that had its siren on, and they purposely moved to let it through, and then restarted the protest to stop everyone else.
That's good of them.
So I even if it was a protester or a protest going on, there's no way of knowing whether they would have or wouldn't have moved in that very specific example where someone could have been injured. But in real life, no one was injured, and no one was even terrified, which is the definition of terror. Like, no one was actually caused, like, panic or fear. Well, at least not majorly, not like fucking 9/11. And in fact, I would even argue that it kind of undermines or disrespects real terror attacks to say that that was a terrorist attack. Like, I'm sure.
Like, I would say if we're gonna talk about intentions, like, ultimately what the intention of a road blockade is to cause a disturbance in service of drawing attention to a point, right? And, like, I don't see how that is, like, theoretically different from terrorism. Like, ultimately what you're trying to do is fuck with people in service of them acknowledging your ideology. And in both cases, I don't think it works. Like, just in the same way that terrorism does not,
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's what the goal of terrorism is. No one thinks that. No, you don't blow up the Twin Towers to get people to convert to Islam. Like, it's not supposed to get people to agree with you. It's supposed to rile them up. Whereas the point of a protest is to show that there's movement behind this thing and a lot of people care, and, like, maybe you should consider it or raise awareness or something.
I just don't see how I think that to do it this way, though, is it's like, you're harming people. You're doing this in a way that is, like, ultimately going to fuck with people, Like,
that's literally the point. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, how is that? I just don't understand.
But it's not terrorism, because it's just a minor inconvenience. It's not like gonna fuck with people by killing their families. It's gonna fuck with people by, like, making them slightly late for something.
Well, it might make them extremely late for something, and maybe that something's important, I mean, I just don't see how it can be justified. Like, I don't see how there's any way that this is a necessary thing to do, and that choosing to do things in a way that will deliberately hurt people, you know, is, to me...
But it didn't deliberately hurt anyone. No one actually was hurt. Well, I guess in your circumstance, it wasn't even protesters.
Right.
But I know when there was Black Lives Matter protests blocking the roads over here, no one was actually hurt. Otherwise, there would have been a massive media outcry by it. Like,
well, I mean,
it's
define
just
the word
all it
hurt,
is
because, like I said, if you waste
like physically
80 years
injured
worth of human time, you've basically killed somebody.
Yeah, but that's spread over like hundreds of people. Think about how long. Well, then by that argument, work is the biggest terrorist attack that's going on at all times.
I would not
because
disagree
everyone's
with that.
wasting.
Work is a terrorist attack. The existence of
terrorism,
mega
though.
corporations is terrorism. I'm terrified of mega corporations. I'm terrified of Target.
You have a very loose definition of what is terror and what is not.
Look, I've got the fear and loathing, all right? Everything in this country fills me with the fear and loathing.
Well, there you go. I guess we just have different definitions of the word terrorism, and we're not going to reconcile those two things.
It's funny to me anytime there's like a word debate on something like this, just because I don't really take any individual word all that seriously, since words are all loose in the first place.
Yeah, I agree with. I would like to make my position on language clear. Mm-hmm. I think that language is absolutely terrible and rubbish for actually expressing things. Like, it's really limited, right. And so arguing about words is something that's inevitable because language is just crap.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I agree with you on that sentiment. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, I for what it's worth, I don't consider myself an anarchist even about words, because I think obviously, I think that society and words need to exist for us to fucking come up with anything, like, you know.
Well, words, they're useful, but they're not like the best. I've been thinking about this.
It's hard
recently
to have this conversation with words, isn't it?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's very hard to describe the flaws in something while expressing yourself through that thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a musician. I'm making music all the time, but by the very fact that I'm constantly making music, I'm highly aware of the flaws that is inherent to music, like the limitations of it, and want to make a song about that. But it's impossible because you have to use music to make that song.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I guess there could theoretically be a way to break music while making it. I mean, in much the same.
I'm trying.
Like, if you can somehow find a way to make a post-structuralist song, I guess. I mean, more so than maybe post-form. I don't know, man.
That's just noise. You've just made Merzbow.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of what Merzbow's, all of his music is just like pure anger at the world for not being accurate enough, I guess.
I'm not sure if that's true. I think some of Merzbow's albums are very peaceful, or as peaceful as you can get using harsh noise. Yeah. Like Merz Buddha, for example, is like, I'd say meditative. It's one of my favorite Merzbow albums. You check it out.
All right, well, we should probably stop this before we start talking about Merzbow in front of an audience who cannot possibly be interested. So, all right, good arguments. See you next time. And
please reply to my email and be on a song.
I don't even know what the last email you sent me was, so
I'll send you an email. Yeah. All right.
I was writing for both tracks you sent me. I did write half of a song and just never finished it. But anyway, yeah, peace out.
All right, cool. Peace.
I'm not entirely sure what you guys' setup is back there at this point.
I put in Slim Bro.
All right, Slim Bro, what's going on? You there? Slim Bro? Fat boy Slim Bro? No?
All right.
Doesn't sound like he's there.
I'm here.
Oh, he's here. Okay. Hey, all right. What's going on? What you want to argue about?
Okay. Oh shit. Okay. So for half an hour, the guys on the Patreon, your Patreon, trying to get me out for half an hour. So
okay.
It's more of a meme.
The thing is,
I can't.
The thing is, I cannot be logged into my Patreon Discord while I'm doing the show because I use a different Discord account. So that would be totally
that's fine. Don't worry. It's fine. So, what is shonen?
It is the. I mean the. Do you mean like as a genre or as a word?
As a genre. As a genre.
I
know it means boy. But...
Shonen is a. I mean, it's not a genre. It's a demographic tag. It's just stuff that is marketed towards young men. We'll say.
And how do we know what is and isn't shonen?
Just by what the magazine says it is. Basically, that's how I go by.
So if it isn't in like Shonen Jump, it can't be shonen.
If it's in if you're in a magazine that considers itself a seinen magazine, then it's seinen. If you're in a magazine that considers itself a shonen magazine, it's shonen. That's the way I've looked at it.
Well, I mean, for example, I would consider Gurren Lagann to be a shonen.
Well,
personally.
Gurren Lagann, I mean, it's an anime, so like, it's probably, considering that it's a clock show, that means it aired on Sunday mornings. It's probably aimed at little boys. So, like, I don't think that's unfair to say that it's a shonen. Like, that's probably who it was primarily marketed towards. But,
right. So the argument I'm trying to make is I don't think that we should just, like, classify anime by what, like, magazine it's on. I think it should take it as, like, does this have the qualities of what shonen is?
Okay, well, I don't think shonen is an effective genre tag because I don't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're talking about this in the Patreon also. It's not really an accurate way to think about it. All right, that was fucking stupid. That was just a meme trying to get on. All right, real arguments. Fucking. So, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Vanilla.
That's plain as fuck, but all right.
I made a whole video called In Defense of Vanilla. I know you know this.
Oh, yeah, I watched the DigiDailies. All right. I personally think that cookies and cream are the better flavor, but everyone keeps saying that cookie dough is better, and I don't think that's right. I think cookie dough is disgusting.
How can you think cookie dough is disgusting? Cookie dough is better than cookies.
No, it's not. It's like uncooked. It's like eating raw eggs. Like you have to cook it first.
Look, I mean, eating raw meat or like less cooked meat is good. Like,
No, it's not.
You don't want to like overcook your meat. You don't want it to be fully cooked. You want it to have some give. Some blood in there a little bit. Maybe.
Personally, I like well done. I don't like medium rare. It's hard to chew. And another thing, cookie dough makes you too bloated. It makes you feel bad eating it.
Just don't eat too much of it. I mean, I don't really have much of a sweet tooth,
ice cream.
So like I'm a one scoop kind of guy. Like I don't really run into that issue.
Well, clearly you got a whole different type of mindset there.
Yeah.
So. We talked about this in your Patreon a few days ago. You were saying that Karakano was the next step in the next logical step to Ava, right?
Yes.
How Ava is about getting, understanding that communicating is good, and Karakano is how it's good.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Even though before I thought in one of your Ava videos, you clearly mentioned that show is just about how it's not about learning that communication is good. It's how I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure before you mentioned that Ava is just about how how communication affects Shinji, like how Asuka makes him express more, and how in the first 6 episodes sets him up to be more caring.
Yeah, but I mean the thing is that in Ava, it's Shinji constantly is learning from people, and like the communication is doing things to him, but he never really recognizes it. Like he never comes to terms with the fact that like people need him and want him, because like right down to the end, right down to the wire, he's constantly questioning like whether or not like it's good to like exist, like for him to exist and to communicate with other people. Like all of his highs come from that, but all of his lows come from that. That's what the hedgehog's dilemma is. It's this constant question of like, I want to get closer to people because it brings more out of me, but it also causes me more pain. So is it worth it? And in End of Ava, the whole conflict of the end of the movie is choosing between just going into a collective and being accepted by everyone inherently because you're all one mind. So like the individuality is gone. There are no people. You're all one. And what Shinji thinks in the end is, well, one is the loneliest number, ain't it? Like if we're all one,
right.
then that means that I'll be alone forever. And so rather than that, I'll choose to try again, as I have been throughout the whole show, to once again make a human connection. But it's the first time that he's really deciding that on his own terms and like being like, hey, I'm gonna fucking do it, like not for anybody else but for my sake. And he chooses to do that with someone who at this point literally hates him. Like, is, you know, when he saves her, she says, you're disgusting, you know, but like he's willing to fight through that and try to find some understanding. Whereas with Kare Kano, like, sort of the first couple episodes are these two loners, like, having this realization that, like, hey, this other person maybe is gonna, you know, complete the parts of me that are missing, you know, and then the whole show is about exploring how they do that, you know, like, from the ground floor of these people have fallen in love, that's already a given. We don't have to worry about them hooking up. It's like, what are they gonna do now that they are hooked up, you know? So that's what I meant by that.
Turn to paper mache, and they fuck up the next 4 episodes.
Yeah, well, you know, there's a reason that ultimately I would say that Ava is a better show because of the fact that it, you know, has a proper ending and all. And, you know, with Kare Kano, you can't exactly go to the manga and just pick up where you left off and expect it to be as good.
I've tried, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's there right now. Well, I agree. I definitely you make strong points for that. And you were saying that after Kare Kano would be, you said the second Gurren Lagann film. Was that right?
No, I was saying that the logical sequel to Shin Godzilla would be the second.
Oh, yeah, you're right, and that's
movie.
that's an amazing concept. Shin Godzilla getting out of cells. Okay, yeah. To add on, remember the Bunchy ripoff, Pico, talking about how the world is big?
Yeah.
You're saying... Okay, well, I recently heard your Patreon podcast on how I'm intertwined the world.
Uh-huh.
And I think that, yeah, humans physically don't take up that much space on Earth, but their global impact has been massive, like in more ways than just physically.
Well, sure, but I mean,
so in take up way more, like, are huge in respect to the Earth.
Well, yeah, I just think that to think that the world is too big for things to change, it's like, what you have to understand about people is that, like, basically everyone wants the exact same thing. Like, they don't understand that they don't understand that fact about themselves for the most part, because everyone wants it in different terms, but like, everyone's kind of shooting for the same thing. So I feel like as long as you can appeal to that broad base, that like deep human need, you know, and you can make people believe that whatever you're pitching is going to appeal to that broad need, you could basically reach anybody, you know. You can
you can, but I think the world, like, now that there's so much communication and clearly we're recognizing that, I mean, I personally don't even think that the world can change, but I'll humor the argument anyway. I think the world, because we're so interconnected now with all the cell phones and internet, that now we understand that people are like completely, sometimes even not non-negotiable. Like, some people just don't want to talk, and people are, even though they try, it's gonna be hard trying to change the entire, you know, Middle East, China, Southeast Asia.
I think that the people who are non-negotiable are the ones that we just need to save for last. Cause like,
yeah,
like, well, as long as we get, because, you know, it's hard to be the last man standing, it's hard to be the last guy whose mind hasn't changed. And you always see that scene in like in cartoons where like the old curmudgeon-y guy like keeps insisting he's never gonna agree, but then once everyone else is on board and they're like, come on, then he's like, oh, okay. And like, you know, that's the Middle East in this situation. Like when we get to a point where, and I mean, granted, it might be done with guns at the head rather than, okay, you know, like it might be like, no, now that everyone in the world except for you is on the same team, you are basically powerless, you know. So, you know, you can look at it authoritatively or invitingly, but
yeah,
either way,
I mean,
you know.
I mean, when you say that, it feels kind of like, yeah. By the way, your platforming fucking sucks.
This game's hard as shit. All right.
Yeah, I can see that. It is hard to be the last man standing, but the thing is, like, there's always gonna be someone backing you up. Like in the Middle East, there's always gonna be, because it's Middle East is just like a agglomeration.
A conglomeration, you mean? Are you still there? Did we lose him? Did we lose me? Am I still alive?
It looks like you're still on. He might have just got disconnected.
Well, we lost our guy, so we might have to replace him.
Hello?
Oh, I hear you. What's going on?
Did I cut out?
Yeah, you cut out for a while.
What did I last say?
Just start from the beginning of what you were saying.
All right, so there's so many people in the Middle East, for example, that there's never going to be that last man standing. I don't think it's possible now, especially now.
The Middle East is not like that population dense.
I mean, it's expected that the Islam is going to be the #1 religion in the next decades.
I mean,
it's going to overtake Christianity. So I think they're going to keep growing, and there's never going to be the last man standing.
I mean, is that not just because they are both like, is it getting bigger than Christianity, and Christianity is like stable, or is it because Christianity's shrinking?
I think overall the world is becoming more secular, but like the Middle East has become like so like isolated from the rest of the world that it to an extent, compared to Christianity at least.
Consider this.
It's becoming like...
Consider if the U.S. and China became allies, like just complete allies, which is possible. China's got 2 billion people. They can swing that around at anybody. Like, I think that if all the big global powers were on the same side, and I think this is low-key what Trump's trying to do. Like, I understand that, like, probably all of us are going to doubt his approach as long as possible. Yeah. But, like, I really think that what he ultimately wants is to get Russia and China to have just a less contemptuous relationship with the U.S. Because if all of those people were on the same side, it's like, how can you even disagree with that amount of force, you know? So, and like, there's no point in us continuing to not be allies, because like we can't go to war. Like, we'd all die. Like, everyone knows that, like, literally war is...
The only thing saving us from war is nuclear bombs.
Yeah, like, I mean, nuclear bombs have made it so, like, you can't use them. Like, as soon as somebody... It's all bluffing. Like, anyone who... Yeah. And I mean, that's why Trump has managed to broker these peace talks between North and South Korea, is because he just called the bluff. He was just like, look, are you gonna fucking nuke us? Like, that, you're not gonna fucking nuke us. What are you talking about? Like, if you nuke us, you're just all dead. Everyone in the world is dead. So, like, quit the posturing and fucking get out of here, you know? I think that's my theory on what he's trying to do, and I'm not necessarily like a Trump guy or anything, or trying to defend the ways he went about it, but like, it just seems to me like he's a guy who recognized that, like, you can just do that using Twitter, and because nobody takes it like too seriously, you can get away with it. But like, I don't know.
I mean, honestly, personally, I think he's gonna get impeached.
You think what?
I think he's definitely gonna be impeached.
For what?
Well, I mean, people are calling him treasonous. People are saying that he's...
People are calling him that, but is he a treasonous? Because you have to be one to get him. I mean, first of all, being impeached just means going before the court. It doesn't necessarily mean, like, losing the presidency. But so even if he was impeached, that doesn't necessarily mean he'd even be out of office. But, like, I just, I don't know. I haven't seen... I haven't seen any like
you know.
convincing evidence of a thing he's done that would be an impeachable offense. You know.
Well, we can argue about the world news any other time. I don't want to talk about
Yeah.
that. That's boring as fuck to me.
All right.
And in more important topics, this entire
It's only
podcast-
relevant to everything we're discussing, but all right.
Yeah, don't worry. Right now, I want to say this entire idea of this live stream is flawed.
Okay, what's wrong with the concept of the live stream?
The only people who are gonna debate you are fanboys who are in the patrons, and not like people who actually care about arguing with you.
See, that's the thing. I didn't expect that when I created the show. Like, I formulated the show around the idea that it would be easy for trolls to have their voice heard if they really cared, but none of them seem to be willing to actually come on. I don't know why.
It's because, well, as Econ said in his picture, it's because you don't give your attention. Like right now, you're playing a game, and he's like, "Why should I give you all my attention if you're gonna like half-ass?"
Okay, well, Econ doesn't count because Econ talks to me every day anyways, and he's not the kind of person I expected to come on the stream. Like, I mean,
right, but I mean, I think like people like the anime snob are just not gonna care enough to get on here because there's no incentive. I mean, people who are in this chat are only gonna be fans of you, so no one's gonna like take him seriously.
I mean, who cares? Like, if they make a better argument, like the point of this show.
Trust me, people, even if you make a terrible argument, people are gonna still gonna side with you.
Yeah, but like, it doesn't matter if people side with me. It matters if you like. I mean, if I make a terrible argument, there's going to be people who are going to say like, "Digi made a terrible argument." You know, I mean, people aren't dumb. They're not just sheep. The reason I have followers is because I'm good at arguing. It's because the things I say make sense. Like, it's not like people follow me for no fucking reason just because I happen to be Digibro. The reason that they back my claims is because they think that there's validity to them. And if they didn't, they would stop backing me, you know? If I came out here and said a bunch of white nationalist shit or something, like, my fans are not going to stay behind me, you know? Like,
I'm pretty sure a good portion might. Well,
maybe a few, but I mean, most of my audience is trans kids, so like, I think they'd be pretty fucking offended. But like, you know, I just feel like if these trolls actually have an argument, if they have something that they can actually get me on, then it shouldn't be hard. You should just be able to come on and say, Digi, you're a piece of shit because you did this, and if I really am a piece of shit who did that, then I'd have to either confess and apologize, which would be, you know, I'd be willing to do that. I mean, if it was something that I felt I had to for, or I'm going to argue with you, and if you're in the right, you should be able to make me look stupid. And like, I mean, we all saw what happened to JonTron when he went on a debate show. Like, his own fan base completely turned on him. So like, it's not as though that's, you know, not something that can happen. So I think, you know, if you ask me, the reason why none of the trolls have come on is because none of them had a fucking argument in the first place, and they're all full of shit. And they can come on here and fucking try to prove me wrong, but they're literally too pussy to do so because they literally know they will lose. Right. So, you know, there you go. That's why the trolls aren't coming on the show.
So then what's the point of this show? So then what's the point of the show?
Well, the point of the show,
at this point, I mean, at this point, you're like, if you look at how many people are in your Discord compared to the first couple episodes, this is like very small.
Yeah,
so
well,
at this point, nobody
knew that the show was
diehard
coming back today because I didn't do a good job of advertising it.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good plan.
Because part of it is that you know, it's been off the air for a few weeks, and I've been
a month actually.
I haven't really been clear about when. I keep saying it was going to come back on Friday, but then, you know, not only was it 20 minutes late because I literally forgot how to do the stream. But I also didn't really announce it ahead of time. You know, if I had put out a video on After Dark saying like, "Hey, Digibro versus everybody is back," I don't even know how to do this puzzle I'm trying to do right now.
I think you have to. Oh yeah, you're right. That's probably need another. You know, I don't know.
But yeah,
you figure that out. Okay, so
yeah,
yeah, okay.
So what the point of the show is basically that I think the way forward for humanity is to recognize that we all need to just actually communicate. That, like, the biggest problem, and this includes a problem with me, is that I tend to just tell people who don't agree with me to fuck off, and then I run off to just go talk to the people who do agree with me. You know, like, I've used the PCP as my little clique, and because of the fact that it's a group of like-minded individuals who are going to agree with me on shit anyways, I feel safe there, you know, and I don't have to confront like people who I don't like. But the only way I'm going to clear up the misunderstandings about me, or to, you know, to hash out whatever disagreements we have, is to just do it, you know. And in the end, one of our minds has to change, or else we have to just agree to disagree. And if we do that on amicable terms, that's great. So far there hasn't been anyone on this show who like walked away feeling like we didn't understand each other at the end, you know, like their voice wasn't heard, and I haven't never felt like my voice wasn't heard. So and in the few cases where people felt that they, you know, they didn't represent themselves well enough, they've been allowed to come back on and try again. You know, we had that whole hour-long lolicon argument as a result of that.
Oh my god, that was so boring.
It's really funny. Like, some people really hate it and some people really loved it. So, I mean, that's how the show's gonna go. Anyway, you've talked long enough, so you're getting booted now.
By the way, I'm the one who talked about horse girls, just so you know.
You're the one who talked about what?
Horse girls in the first one, and
I thought your
Hunter
voice
Hunter.
sounded familiar.
Yeah, so I'm an old timer
I'm
here.
gonna put in sick puppy.
All right.
Are they there?
Sick puppy, you there?
Yeah, he just put exclamation points in his name. There we go.
Hey,
Hey, what's going on? What you want to argue about?
hey, what's up? You're a piece of shit, and this is why.
All right.
In January of this year, Devilman Crybaby dropped in Netflix,
Yes.
and it's the best show ever, and you should love it, but you don't. And
I gave it like a 9 out of 10.
yeah, but you didn't give it a 10 because of the ending.
Yeah.
But the ending is perfect.
What?
The ending.
I just think I didn't think it looked good. I didn't like that Rio like got all of his like development at the very end. Like I didn't give a fuck about him through the whole show, and then suddenly the whole last episode is just like his backstory, and it just took away from the drama of watching the fucking world end, you know? I mean, have you read the original manga?
Yeah, I have read it.
Because, like, the ending is the best part of the original manga. It's, like, that's the part that made it iconic and memorable to me. So, like, while Crybaby is good, like, to lose out on the thing that I most cared about from Devilman, which is the ending, it was really disappointing for me, you know?
Yeah, but still, the ending is good, but not for the same reasons as for the manga. Because in the anime is a little different, because the anime doesn't focus in politics and in like the Cold War thing that was happening when the manga was written, but it's like focused in more love than anything.
Right. I would say it's about love versus sociopathy. It's a, you know, Rio is sort of the evil we face in today's society, which is people who think that they know what's best for the world without actually being able to embrace other people and like recognize the things that we value, you know? Like a misunderstanding of human values.
Yeah, maybe, but I think it's more like English is not my first language, so okay. I'm trying to look for the word. Lust is more like lust versus platonic love, because there's like a love triangle between the three main guys. Because their love between the connection that the three main people in the series have is pure, versus all the other horrible things that happen in the anime, like raping a bird woman while fighting her. So yeah, and at the end, it all culminates in this beautiful thing where, sorry, I'm trying to translate my post here.
You're just like reading your own blog post as the of the ending.
Well, I did a video, but it's in Spanish.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm trying to translate it here. Yeah, so here the tears that fell off of Satan in the and from Devilman, it's not like tears of pain or love. It's more like I hate Spanish and English.
Just try to think of it without reading your post. Just think of your own.
Okay.
Just restate the exact same point, but try to imagine it in English.
Yeah. Let's see. At the ending of Devilman Crybaby, Satan and Devilman are like at the end of the world. Everything is destroyed. There's nothing, because Satan wanted only to be with Devilman.
Yeah.
The love that was between Devilman and Satan was completely platonic, and Satan made it real, but destroying the only thing that he wanted. And that's why he cries at the end, not because he lost the only person that he loved, but also losing everything that he worked for, and everything that he had for him disappeared. And he did it. He did everything to destroy himself. It's a story for focusing on the destruction of oneself. In your video, you mentioned that they made him like very Kira-esque, from Death Note, but I don't think that was the case. Because Kira in Death Note is very cold and very self-centered, and he doesn't care about the people that are involved in his antics. But here, Satan is very worried about Devilman. Not so much the girl. I forgot her name.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
you know
I
the
guess
girl.
The way I would describe it is that he cares about Akira, but like as a possession of himself. He cares about him insofar as like he doesn't trust Akira to make his own decisions. He wants him to, he basically views him as sort of a pawn who's under his control, and it's like he doesn't really respect him as an individual, and that's why his love is false, or it's a misunderstanding of what love is meant to be, or what healthy love is meant to be. Like, would you say that?
I guess, yeah. It's a persecution of love, and the ending is a culmination of that. It has like recycled animation and all that shit, and the scene with the kids, that was fucking awful. But
see, that's the thing. I don't dislike the ending thematically. I dislike it just because I felt like if it was like, it's not that the themes were bad, it's that they were badly executed. It's that they took a character who I didn't really care about and centered everything on him while giving us scenes that were just not that engaging. And it's like to take a series whose, like, even if you were going to change the themes and make it about something different, that's all fine. It's just that, like, why wasn't Ryo a more major character throughout the series if it was going to be about this conflict in the end? Why was it not more focused on specifically exploring their relationship if that was going to be the thing that mattered, in the long run? And then, not to say that they couldn't have effectively put it all in the last episode, but like you just said, the whole stuff with the kids was fucking lame, and it was just like, I just feel that you can get good themes anywhere. Any piece of media can, if the person understands the world, they can write interesting themes into a piece of work. What matters is how well the themes are executed to make it good. And the original Devilman isn't iconic specifically because of the themes. It's iconic because the ending looks fucking insane, and it's like, it's so memorable and so iconic that it's just the best, it's the best representation of the theme. It's the most memorable version of the end of the world as depicted in manga, and the anime's not. So, like, even if it's about something different, and even if what it's about is interesting, it's just not, it's not the best at exploring that theme in the way that the original manga was the best at exploring its theme,
Yeah, I guess. I think that I've seen a lot of gore shit, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the gore that makes it interesting to me. It's just the depiction of like this insane, like biblically apocalyptic thing, but in such a definitively like Japanese context. Just that image, that final image of, you know, Satan holding the Devilman body with the fucking crazy ass like angel thing in the background. And not just even how good it looks in the manga, but that it was so influential to like every other depiction of the end of the world in anime. You know, that like not only do I think of that manga, but I also think of Berserk and I think of End of Eva, you know, which both pay pretty obvious tribute to it. And so like it's kind of like it's got loaded imagery, you know. And so to me, if you're going to make a new Devilman, then that's like what you have to get right. And, I mean, granted, Devilman's been fucking that up as a franchise for, you know, since the original. Like, no incarnation of Devilman has been as good as the original manga, and Crybaby might be the second best, you know, but it was just disappointing to ultimately feel like it wasn't a... Up until that point, I felt like it could have been the anime adaptation of Devilman. Even if the themes were a little different, like, if it had been as iconic, I could have told people, like, hey, you don't gotta go read this cheesy old manga that's got a bunch of Monster of the Week chapters. You could just watch Devilman Crybaby. And in the end, I didn't end up feeling that way, you know?
Yeah, I guess, but I think it's more because of the director, because you as a very specific way to convey his themes. Have you ever seen his weird shorts? His weird short animations?
Like for the like Genius Party?
Yeah, and
I haven't actually seen his Genius Part. I think he has a part in Genius Party. I'm not actually sure about that.
Yeah, he has a short in Genius Party. But I think that Tezuka's vision wasn't the same as Yuasa. Yuasa just used Devilman as his way to portray what he wanted, what he believed was Devilman. I feel
that Yuasa has done a better job of nailing a theme. Like, I think that Ping Pong is more visually cohesive, that it conveys its themes more clearly and better, that, like, the ending is way better. So, like, when I look at Ping Pong, I think, why couldn't Devilman Crybaby have been as good as Ping Pong, you know? Like, this director's clearly capable, so, you know, even if it's a different theme, I just don't think he nailed this one as well as he had nailed that one in the past.
Yeah, I guess so. Ping Pong is, I will call it better than Devilman, but...
Well, you said Devilman Crybaby was the best anime ever earlier.
Oh, shut up. Well, Serial Experiments Lane is technically the best anime ever, but this is pretty cool.
All right. Well, I think we've had our argument at this point. So you're getting
yeah. Yeah.
Are we bringing in next? Oh, you're behind me now. I didn't even realize that Tom was not there anymore.
I'm gonna put in Keyblade Spirit.
Sounds like a Kingdom Hearts fan. What's going on, Keyblade? What you want to argue about?
Over a year ago, I was listening to an episode of The Pub Crawl.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember which episode this was, but in it, you and Cider agreed that hypnosis and mind control should be the same tag.
Okay. Like porn tag?
Yes.
I don't remember this conversation at all. May, what do you think of this? Do you think they should be the same tag?
They're in the same wheelhouse. It's the same like power fantasy, so I think they should be the same.
All right. Well, I want to hear this guy's argument then.
Okay. See, here's the thing. In a way, they kind of are power fantasy. However, hypnosis is set in this, or it's couched in this idea of some kind of consent. Mind control comes... the difference that I see in it is mind control is strictly non-consensual. The protagonist is taking power over somebody.
Yeah, that's why we have the rape tag.
Well,
yeah, mind control I see as something that should be part of rape. Not the same tag, but whereas hypnosis, it's more along the lines of somebody giving the protagonist power.
How so? I mean, well, who's being hypnotized to do what? I mean, I feel like context matters here. Like, hypnosis is a pretty broad category.
Yeah. Well, hypnosis being the more realistic form of hypnosis, where there's an induction and there's an understanding between subject and
okay. Well, if that's the case, like if the person being hypnotized is consenting to being hypnotized, then yeah, I would say that deserves to be a separate tag from mind control in that case. I didn't think of that as, like, I've never seen porn like that, basically. Like, when I see hypnosis, it's usually for the sake of mind control. But I guess if you were going to have a specific tag for, like, willing hypnosis, then that would deserve to be a separate tag. So I guess I see where you're coming from. We can agree on this.
Okay.
Was that all?
That was pretty much all.
All right. Well, good argument.
Okay.
You changed my mind, so you're the most effective person today. Even though I don't remember stating that at all, but, you know, it's the pub crawl, so I don't remember half of it.
Yeah. Well, I should say that you are right that it's not usually used for the
consensual purpose.
Yeah, for consensual practice. However, it's there enough.
Yeah, I feel it.
And yeah, and even when it's shown as hypnosis, it going in, that's more of the mindset that I'm going with. Right. Maybe that's different for other people.
Yeah, well,
I should have
depends on who you
specified that earlier.
I guess maybe there should be, if it is non-consensual, then that should all be classified as mind control, and only consensual should be classified as hypnosis. What do you think of that?
I kind of agree.
All right. Well, I think that's a reasonable stance. Let's bring in the next one.
All right.
The next one, because you're all just fucking.
I'm gonna bring in O'Arrow.
Who?
Yes.
O'Arrow.
He's in here.
What's going on?
Hey, how's it going? Also, it's Oro.
Oro.
Nobody can pronounce it right, yeah.
What do you want to argue about?
So, my argument is rap music is a waste of production talent and skill.
Okay, well, what's your argument for that?
Rap music, as a producer myself, I have been producing music for about 5 years prolifically.
Mm-hmm.
I have found rap music, the vast majority of rap music, is a waste, especially with this recent upsurgence of trap music and this thudding 808, you know, this broad sound of like reverb-soaked thudding 808s. It's a waste because it's the most simplistic genre, and simplicity isn't bad inherently. Prog rock, people like Rush got their whole thing by just being a 3-piece band that sounds like a 6-piece band and is absolutely amazing. They're great, but
I think Rush is pretty overrated, and I'm not I grew up with Rush because my dad was a big Rush fan, but I don't know. I don't think they've aged that well.
You can't deny their influence, though. They were a big impact on music anyway. So rap music, the first thing I ever did in FL Studio, which is my dog choice, is I took an 808, I clipped it, and I added some fucking reverb bells, and like I made a bass line. That's all you have to do, and that's all most people do. But most of the mainstream hip hop production, all these trap, all this trap shit is like, it's the same sound over and over and over again, and it's made by these super talented, super skilled producers that could do so much more, but with what people want and with how music has evolved and how it's been overly stripped down, it's a waste. Because you have these people these Flying Lotus type characters who could do all this shit, and they have all this skill and all this knowledge of music theory. A lot of them went to school for this shit, and all they do is make trap beats.
is that true of Flying Lotus? Does he make trap beats?
No. Flying Lotus is a special example because, you know, his Captain Murphy project, and that's what hip-hop music can be. That's the potential that hip-hop music has.
So, okay, well, then you're not saying that hip-hop is a waste of time. You're saying that the modern trap is a waste of time.
Primarily. However, I will also argue the point for old-school hip-hop.
Okay.
Because it's all sample-based. That they don't make their own sounds. Everything is stolen, for the most part. They take these loops of, like, old funk records, and they'll loop them over and over. That's how you got the old 90s boom bap sound. And you know what? It's repetitive. It's a waste of talent, because these are people like Dr. Dre and, like, all these people. They're amazing producers, but they just waste their talent on slicing loops.
How can you call it a waste of talent if what comes out sounds good?
Sorry, I was getting a drink of water. Well, I'm a firm believer of the evolution of music, and that when they first started doing that boom bap sound, it was revolutionary, right?
Yeah.
Samplers just came out. It was like introducing the technology.
And no one does it anymore, so we've evolved past it.
We have, yes. But now we've moved on to 808s and 808s, twiddling hi-hats, and
I mean,
these,
sure, in like the realm of like pop music, but pop music's always slow to change and dinosaurish, you know?
Sure, but even in the underground with like the SoundCloud scene, they're all going for the same.
But that's because everyone on SoundCloud is trying to be famous. Everyone on SoundCloud is trying to have the next big hit, but there's tons of artists doing like crazy out there hip hop, you know? Like if you're listening to Bus Driver, if you're listening to like Quelle Chris, if you're listening to what's that acid whatever, the one that's like crazy fucking industrial hip hop. I mean, Dialect's always been experimenting, you know. Danny Brown doesn't sound like other rappers,
of course, yeah.
You know, and he's fairly popular. You've got you know, people, everyone in, well, not everyone, I should just say Tyler the Creator and Earl Sweatshirt had a pretty distinct sound, you know. So like there's plenty of people who are fucking around with it, and some of them are even popular. I mean, I agree that the generic 808 trap sound is you know, it's quickly becoming old hat, but eventually people will get sick of it when they've heard enough of it, you know.
Sure. And I have one more music related thing too, and this could go shorter, it could go long. I think Death Grips is a waste of Zach Hill's talent. I think Hella is a vastly superior project. I think it's much more like
Hella wasn't necessarily innovative. His project, was it?
That's true. It was a collaborative project, but he was still a big driving creative force in it.
I think that a lot of people underestimate, because personally, and I didn't realize this until kind of recently, Death Grips is mostly just Zach Hill playing drums. Like, most of what you're hearing is just him. I think he just plays on an electric drum kit, and Flatlander just, like, plugs samples into each of the drums, and then he just kind of goes apeshit and makes a beat out of it. So, like, I think if anything, it's extremely innovative that they've found a way to make something that sounds like it's produced in a, you know, an FL Studio or something, but it's, or, you know, I shouldn't say that shouldn't be something to strive for. I mean to say, like, it's something that, like, sounds like hip-hop, even though it's mostly performed by a guy on a drum kit, you know, and, you know, it's fascinating what they've managed to do, and all their albums have, you know, evolved that sound and done something different with it. Now, granted, I do think that, I will say that I think people overstate, like, how original or even, like how much goes into their music, because I do think most of it's made pretty simplistically, and that's why they can crank out albums so quickly, is that it's not exactly that they're writing like something super technical. It's more like we found a really
it's almost
cool
like a jam
palette.
session.
Yeah, like we found a cool sound palette and a great beat or a great groove to play it with, and then we just verse chorus versed it and ride screamed some shit, but like it's just sounds good, you know, and like, and I think that that's the main appeal of it, is simply that it sounds good, not so much that it's like musically technically impressive. if you want that, go listen to JPEG Mafia, you know, who actually is doing.
Listen to him. I listen to JPEG Mafia, Clipping, all those fun guys. Yeah.
Well, so if you like all that, then you know hip hop's it is in good hands in some sense.
Definitely, but they do something that hip hop doesn't do, and that's Clipping especially. I've been jamming out to Clipping lately, and they do this thing. Oh, it's Clipping, bitch. And they do this amazing thing where the instrumentals that they make sound like what they're rapping about. They don't use these like the same cookie cutter bullshit that the vast majority of rap music that I've heard has.
Yeah.
Not all of it. You have your Captain Murphys, your Clippings, your Death Grips.
I mean, the vast majority of rock music just uses the same, you know, 2 guitar bassist,
tones,
drummer, same tones. Like, it's funny. Like, it's funny to see the way that, like, so much of the history of rock inevitably has disappeared because of the fact that in the long run, you're only going to remember the greats. Like, no one's going to turn on, like, when you listen to 80s rock radio, it's so fucking funny. When I'm in May's dad's car, all he listens to is Ozzy's Boneyard, and they've literally boiled it down to where it's just AC/DC, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Old School Sabbath, Motorhead, and, like, you know, a few sprinklings of, like, classic songs from other bands. But, like, that's all you hear. And you know that there was hundreds of bands that were charting in the 80s with the same sound, but, like, anything that wasn't the best has just fallen by the wayside. And it creates this rose-tinted lens to view, you know, rock history as, like, oh, it was all these amazing bands. And it's like, you know, in 10 years... most of the rap that we talk about will have fallen away, and we'll just remember, like, the 10 guys who were actually kind of innovative, you know, or, like, who were the most famous.
I 100% agree with you. However, there's one thing that rock definitely has over hip-hop, in that the music backing, even if it all does sound like Super Saiyan stuff, it sounds like it fits what they're rapping about.
I mean, I think that...
most of the time.
I think old school hip-hop, a lot of it did feel that way. Granted, a lot of it is about the same shit, so...
yeah.
You know, it's not like it covers a huge variety of themes necessarily, but I do think... you know, I think there are rappers who are creating that. I mean, like you said, Clipping's doing it, so... I don't know. I mean, it sounds like you think that there's rap artists who are doing what you're praising rock artists for, so...
I did say most. I said the majority.
I don't know that the majority of rock music conveyed what it...
Oh, no, the majority of rap. Like, I do agree that most rock music is the same cookie-cutter dribble.
No, I just mean to say that you were saying that, like, more rock music sounds like what they're singing about. But, I mean, in most cases, it's because they just... like, in the same way that rap music was mostly about just, like, life in the hood for a long time, rock music was mostly about rock and roll. Like, half of all classic rock is just, I want to rock and roll all night. I'm going to rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. Everything is just, like, it sounds like itself because it's about itself. It's congratulatory of itself, you know?
Yeah. I agree. No, you got me. Can I shill something?
Sure.
If these people don't hate me by now. I just released an EP under the name Oro, OARO. Can't even spell my own name. And it's called Mental Balance. It's on Spotify and Apple Music, on Bandcamp. It's an electric orchestral.
Good name. Electric.
Yeah, it's yeah, well, yeah, it's different. It's like all Chinese influenced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might have
I worked I worked real hard on it, and I would appreciate if you guys would go check it out.
Yeah, anybody who's interested in Chinese influenced electronic orchestral music, which I can't say I've ever heard any of. Go check that out. All right, let's bring in the next argument.
Yeah, it's 8:13. How long do you want the stream to go?
We're just gonna do one more.
All right.
Send in your best guy. Everybody, hold up before we even bring them in. Take him out, and then let's see who. People are saying they want Massive Legend.
Massive Legend.
Do we want Massive Legend?
Why not? Let's end it on a bang.
All right.
Yo.
Am I on?
Yes, you're on.
All right. So Oro kind of fucked it up because I don't want to be like at another rap discussion.
Okay.
My original argument was that I think that Kanye is gonna go down as the greatest rapper of all time.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Wait, you don't?
No, I fucking love Kanye.
I thought you did. Okay.
I didn't like The Life of Pablo. However, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is like one of my top 10 favorite albums, and I love Ye, the new album. I'm not the biggest fan of Kids See Ghosts compared to other people, but I do love the Ye album. I identify with Kanye West a lot. I agree with a lot of his outlandish statements and his general presence. I've been planning to make a song called White Kanye West for a while, but you know.
Yeah, I have definitely turned Kanye tweets into your tweets.
Oh yeah. I've seen those. Yeah. Those are hilarious. And I recently followed him on Twitter for the same reason, that I started reading his tweets and realizing that they sounded like I tweeted them. So that's why I followed him.
I had a backup argument then. I think that the Akira film is superior to the manga, despite what most people say.
Why?
Well, just because. Okay, so I feel like both the manga and the film go for two different things. Whereas like the manga tries to tell more of a linear and cohesive story.
Yeah.
The anime definitely just tries to kind of like show this world of Neo Tokyo, and Otomo does that way better than I think he does in the manga, just through the animation and how well made and how well animated it is. And also I just think that I just rather have that like kind of like convoluted story in the anime. That's a little harder to
I think it's
understand.
It's definitely defensible. I would have a difficult time picking a definitive favorite, because I do really like the manga and like the story and the fact that it, you know, ends up being like a great, well-told epic tale. But at the same time, we live in a world rife with well-told epic tales. I don't necessarily know that we needed that. I think the reason that the movie has survived as a more iconic telling is simply because, like, even if the manga is better as a story, it is less unique. Like, being good is less unique than being whatever the hell the Akira movie is, you know? So, yeah, I think that there's definitely a case to be made there.
Yeah, and, like, I still think that the manga is, like, great and one of the best, like, manga period. But I just feel that, like, the anime is a much more, like you said, unique story than the original.
Well, I think that your argument is reasonable. What the hell? We agreed on both things you came in with. So, all right. Well, that was Massive Legend. What a massive legend. Now I guess we can wrap this up now, because I already fucking lost the game and had to restart it. So, like, at this point, I'm fucking sick of playing it. All right, everybody, that's it for this episode of Digibro versus Everybody. It was a little slower because we didn't really plan it well, and I fucking literally forgot how to do the show. But hey, at least now people know it's back. I only want to do this on Fridays, because originally the reason we were doing 2 a week was to get the Twitch affiliate shit, which we got, and then immediately did not do another live stream for 2.5 weeks. But it was also because I just, you know, it was like a fun, exciting, hey, everyone's got a million arguments. But now we've slowed down a little bit. There's fewer people with, you know, like we've already made so much progress on being understood. A lot of the broad topics are gone. So now we need people bringing more specific shit. But yeah, next Friday, same time, same place, same bat channel. And now I gotta find the mouse so I can end the stream.
Good job.
I still haven't done it yet. Hold on. Here we go. Bye.